Having been forced into an arranged marriage with James, a man my parents, Mary and John Thompson, meticulously portrayed as a humble financial consultant, my life felt like a carefully constructed punishment. Many watching with pity or barely concealed schadenfreude. James, to me, seemed utterly unremarkable. He was average height, with plain features and medium brown hair, consistently dressed in a department store suit and a non-luxury watch. I uncovered the shocking reality. My humble financial consultant husband, the man my parents had so dismissively labeled a nobody, was, in fact, James Parker, the reclusive billionaire founder and CEO of Aurora Investments. The most horrifying truth to emerge was that my own mother, Mary, had meticulously orchestrated the sabotage of my beloved fashion boutique. My business's financial collapse, the very event my parents used to label me irresponsible and force me into this arranged marriage, was not my fault at all. It was a calculated, deliberate plot. She was aided in this cruel scheme by my father John's business associate, William, and a professional con artist named Jessica, whose real identity was Rebecca Collins. Together, they had intentionally created the conditions for my boutique's failure. Their motive was chillingly clear: to completely discredit me, to humble me, and most importantly, to reassert absolute control over my independence and my life's narrative. The public humiliation from the Thompson-era stooped and boutique scheme headlines was a narrative they had manufactured themselves. I had been living a profound lie, not just about my husband, but about my entire recent past, orchestrated by the very people who claimed to be my family. His net worth was an astonishing $4.2 billion, a fortune that far eclipsed my own family's wealth. The man who drove a Honda Civic and lived in an ordinary apartment was a financial titan, a revelation that instantly explained the quiet authority I.e.d. sometimes glimpsed in his seemingly excessive business meetings. Mary had even commented she liked him because he's forgettable. He arrived for our arranged dates in a Honda Civic, and his apartment was just as ordinary, filled with functional furniture and minimal decoration. Our generous wedding gift from my parents was a 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of a converted factory building, furnished blandly by Mary herself. I famously retorted, "This isn't a home, it's a holding cell," as I floundered with domesticity, while James observed me with surprising patience. This punitive marriage, along with my demotion to an entry-level administrative job at my father's company, was their direct consequence for my fashion boutique's financial collapse. He would return to find me struggling with my demeaning administrative job, a role my father, John, explicitly stated was suitable for your capabilities. However, my curiosity began to grow alongside a deep suspicion. Weekends, James would often disappear for business meetings that seemed excessive for a junior position. He maintained a locked home office where he took private calls, his muffled voice often carrying a distinct authority that seemed far beyond his supposed role. I constantly wondered, why would this unassuming man agree to marry a disgraced socialite like me? They ruthlessly framed the failure as undeniable proof of my recklessness and irresponsibility, a calculated move to humble me and reassert total control over my life's narrative. Mary, with ice-cold eyes, even hissed that this was where I belonged, ensuring my humiliation was complete. I was a disgraced heiress, stripped of my independence, my apartment reclaimed, credit cards cancelled, and my Mercedes replaced by a decade-old Honda. Every family gathering became a public spectacle, where I was trotted out as living evidence that even a Thompson woman could fall. My wedding to James was a stark reminder of my new status. A tastefully modest affair with a mere 50 guests, a fraction of our usual extravagant affairs. For 6 months, I lived this life. James would leave early each morning for his supposed financial consultant position, a role I now understand was a complete facade. Then, 6 months into our marriage, the truth exploded, shattering the meticulously crafted illusion. But the revelation of James's true identity was merely the first layer of a much deeper, far more insidious family betrayal.